that's now about everything. After dementia zapped Ann away and that whole plot was finished then, the main six went to pick you up from hospital. And that's when we showed up. Wow, sounds like you unknowingly picked the perfect time to shoot me, Apple Bloom. It might have been a pain in the chest and I almost died of it, but at least that took me out of the story long enough to miss that entire drug plot. I can only imagine that Robotus would have probably had me be the one to fall to addiction in order to have the plot be more connected to the main six. I'm glad he settled for Diamond Tira instead. Yeah, me too. Out of every filly's life he could have ruined, he chose the one who was the wealthiest. I see that as a way of moral justice. Or maybe Robotus just wanted to spice it up with involving more characters. Either way, I'm glad I wasn't there to witness all that shit. And I also am really thankful, friends. You showed me that you really value me as a part of our trio, because in my absence, you didn't make one single episode that focused on you. Well, that's not exactly true. The sketches that moved the heroine plot forward usually involved us in one way or another. Yeah, but I get what you mean, and who am I to deny that? But it's right. I gotta admit that I didn't really feel like making a sketch just for the funnies. You know, it just wouldn't been right. Something would be missing without you. While we're at the topic of something missing, am I maybe doing exactly that? Missing something? I mean, why are we back here in our classroom? I thought Miss Cheerilee was still hospitalized after Spike's attempted murder. Maybe they finally found a substitute for us. Good grief. If that's the case, this episode is probably also just gonna be scrapped and no one will ever see it. What? What do you mean by that? Well, there was this one sketch that took place right here, around the time Claudia was born. We had gotten a new substitute teacher, which obviously was a poorly disguised reformed chrysalis. In true Robotus fashion, we all acted like uncharacteristically racist assholes towards her until she snapped. Wow, that sounds like a pretty bad episode. It was. And that's why we treat it like Bruno Madrigal. We don't talk about it. But wait, didn't our sisters tell you that Chrysalis had gotten her memory back? So she's evil again, and I doubt that in that case she'd be our substitute teacher. And maybe if it's some pony other than her, the setting actually might work out. Gee, I had totally forgotten that y'all were the Pinkie Pie of our trio. Pardon me. Your fucking optimism honestly disgusts me. Yeah, me too. But I think we can get used to it again. The same way I hope to get used to you being pricks again.
Good morning, class. Every pony please settle down. I just need to get set for a moment, but then we can begin right away.
Holy shit, I can't believe it! It's Miss Cheerilee! What? Wait, that's illegal! She ain't supposed to be back already. I'm not in the mood for yet another racism lesson. Would you rather be sitting around doing nothing again? Just give her a chance, fuck's sake. I mean, at least she seems to have recovered from Spike's attack. I wouldn't really say recovered. She's still got quite a thick bandage on her head. How about we just let her explain herself, instead of wasting time with our own interpretations? What? But how else would we get the artificial runtime we need to reach the 8-minute mark? Yes, Scoots! You're definitely not in touch anymore with how this here channel works! But Robotus isn't even monetized, and given his vulgar content, he likely never will be. Ain't no reason not to make them vids long enough. You'll never know.
Alright, quiet please. Now, I'm sure you've all heard by now of the rather unfortunate event that I was part of a few weeks back. Meaning when that fucking psychopath of a purple dragon tried to choke me to death! But I don't want to waste any more time with being angry than I already have. First of all, I wanted to thank all of you for your kind support and lovely wishes of well-being you sent to me while I was recovering. I received so many cards with kind words, and not to mention all the flowers I got. They were most lovely. But then, however, I woke up from coma, and that fever dream ended. And I came to realize that not one single fucking soul in all of Ponyville had taken the time to even waste one thought on me. No pony ever checked in on me. Not once was anyone there to see how I was doing. Not to mention my bed was barren and void of any sign of support. No cards, no flowers, no nothing. Can any pony here maybe tell me why that was? Did you all just assume I had died?
Oh, well, that ain't precisely it. You see, it's actually that. Man, why the hell did I start talking? What the fuck should I say? I have no fucking clue why none of us cared. It ain't been our responsibility to remember that. Robotus shoulda had written something about us sending you flowers. Yeah, that actually kinda makes sense. He's the author after all. We only do what he says. So it was actually him who didn't care about you.
Oh, well, that of course makes it completely alright.
Y'all gotta believe us. We would've sent something seriously. But it ain't exactly been an easy time following that attack on you. Spike didn't really call it a day after the deed. He rather just then decided to really go all out. And in between the resolution of this heroin plot and that discarded Chrysalis episode that no one will ever see, we simply forgot. But I'm being serious. I'm sorry for that.
Oh, you know what? Whatever. You're children after all. At that age, ponies hardly ever think of anyone other than themselves. And you two in particular did really have other worries, with Scootaloo being injured as well. By the way, it's nice seeing you back, my little pony. I'm glad you're okay again.
Thanks, Miss Cheerly. You too. I mean, as okay as you can be, given you almost died.
Oh well, like I said, I decided that I wouldn't be angry about that anymore. After all, Spike only tried to murder me.
You suddenly sound eerily cold with that. Something up?
No, not really. I just came to realize that this was bound to happen with someone like Spike around. I just happened to be the one receiving it.
Someone like Spike? You mean an incel?
No, a dragon. So it's no use getting angry at what Spike has done. It was just in his nature. Dragons are known to be bloodthirsty and brutal.
What?
It's true. Just think about it. The one character in this series to ever go so far as to try taking a life was a dragon.
That is factually untrue.
Those reptiles are cold-blooded simply because of their species, and just as ruthlessly he committed his crimes. But this experience opened my eyes to the true problem in this country, worse even than the unicorns and their oppressive system. They might be privileged racists, but at least they also somehow still are a part of our pony society. Dragons, however, they live out all their wildness and aggression unhinged. And that is not fair if you think about it. That us law-abiding ponies have to endure the dragons and all their bruteness quietly, ever since Twilight made that whole alliance with their new lord. There was a reason that for most of our history, Equestria never knew anything detailed about the dragons because we knew enough. They are dangerous, reckless, and they cannot coexist with ponies. Their perception of a functioning society simply doesn't align with ours.
Wow, holy shit, that is a lot to unpack. But at the hazard of sounding like a race traitor or whatever, I can't help but notice that everything y'all just said was, well, it was fucking racist, y'all. Why are you now generalizing all dragons? What about others like Smolder? She's alright. Or is she not? To be fair, we don't know how she really is because she never showed up in a sketch, but Sweetie Belle is still right. To me, it rather looks like you just take this one bad experience you had with one dragon and used to hate his entire race. I mean, sure, what he did was horrible, but that was simply because Spike is a psycho. It doesn't have anything to do with dragons in general.
Oh, my silly little fillies, what you're saying is completely ridiculous. But it shows me that I was absent long enough. You all desperately need a refreshing of my lessons. Or have you forgotten that racism only then applies when the creature in question abuses their power? As an earth pony, I have no power. I am one of the oppressed, therefore I cannot be racist. I'm willing to admit that I might be discriminating against dragons, but definitely not racist.
Oh, well then it's totally okay as long as it's just discrimination.
Good! I'm glad we're on the same page now. To begin this new topic about the problem with dragons in Equestria, I would first ask you to do a little exercise. Please write a list of 10 times when a dragon made you feel uncomfortable due to their rude manners. Starting now.
Sitting here I realize, why the hell did I ever begin to miss that mare? This is just like her very first episode, only this time with dragons instead of unicorns. Almost makes me wish another agent classified would come bursting through their door. Oh, please no. There is nothing more pathetic for an artist than to rehash a once successful concept because you can't make up new shit anymore. What y'all doing, Scoots? I'm writing a list. Seriously? But that's wrong. You shouldn't do that. That's just what perpetuates those racist beliefs. Hold on. Did you actually already list 5 points on that list? She did? Let me see. Where do you take all this from? Frankly, just remembering everything we went through with Spike. He might not be representing old dragons, but he himself still is a dragon. And that's what the task says. Guess whoever made that quote was right when they said that logic is racist. They must have meant that. Well, whatever. I don't need another bad grade. Me neither. And if we only list all things that Spike did, we'd have enough to fill 10 lists. Now, first there's a simping for my sister. Oh, and the creepy dick pics he always sends her. His general nice guy vibe. Or that one time he lured us into Celestia's lab.